Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. You are listening to ProjectME, the podcast with Tiffany Carter, and today we have a really cool guest for you guys. I'm super excited to have on Rachel Olson. She's the founder of She's Gone Bananas. She's turned her passion for baking and her love for baking into a business. And I know there's a lot of you guys out there that have dreamed of it or watched other people on even TV that have done it. It's like, how the hell did they do it? Well, I've brought on a guest to let you know how the real deal is and what it's really like. Hey, Rachel, how's it going?
Hey, Tiffany. Thanks for having me today.
So I would love for people to know just what made you pull that trigger into creating a business around your love for baking.
Honestly, what made me pull the trigger was my husband lost his job, and we needed money. And I know everyone has a sob story, but I turned my sob story into a passion. I've always had a passion for food and baking. And he lost his job, and I said, we need to make some money. And I just started baking banana bread and put up a post in our neighborhood page on Facebook, and people started buying it.
Wow. Well, you already knew, right, that people enjoyed your baked goods. You already had some confidence, right?
Yes, I had a lot of confidence because every time we would go somewhere, I would bring some sort of cake or bread or something with when we would go over to friends' houses for dinner. And people were always telling me, you need to sell it. You need to sell it. And I was like, no, it's just for us. No one would ever buy it. And I was wrong.
What happened? Because you guys, you can follow Rachel on Facebook and on Instagram, and I'll make sure all that's in the show notes. And she keeps it really real. Plus, all of the stuff she bakes, it looks so cool, and it'll make you really hungry on top of that. But what I found interesting, when I follow you, is you're saying like how many like crazy amount of pounds of bananas you're buying. It's like, it seemed like your business took off really fast. Did it?
Yes, it did take off very fast, much faster than I thought it was going to, for sure.
How did you handle that?
It's a balancing act. So I, like many people, am a wife and a mom, and I also work full time. So it is really about being laser focused in what I want to get done in the day, and creating blocks of time and getting up early and staying up late. So
I didn't realize, on top of being a mom, being a wife, which is, I consider that a job, and having a full-time job. Can you kind of take us through like roughly like what your week looks like? Like, how do you find time for your side hustle?
It's definitely hustling. Basically, I get up every morning between 6 and 7, and which may be late for some, but that's early enough for me. Get my son ready for school, and that when there was school, now it's summer break. So now we're getting ready for camp. And I log in I work from home, so that gives me a little bit of flexibility, but I log in and I work my 8 hours a day on my computer. And then nighttime is, baking and frosting and posting. And most of my side hustle is done in the evening because it is important for me to still be dedicated to my job, because we still do need that income and the benefits that come along with a full-time job.
Yeah, and I have another podcast that I did about that because I transitioned from employee to entrepreneur about 10 years ago. And I
Mm-hmm.
tell people, don't take advantage of your current situation. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
know there's certain circumstances where you might have just a horrible abusive work environment. That's different. But if
Mm-hmm.
these people are relatively good to you, like don't cheat them out of time in order to do your side hustle.
Correct. That is 100% correct.
Because that shows, that shows your integrity. And I'm so thrilled you're on here. So women especially can get like, you can do this, but
Mm-hmm.
I want people to know what the catch is. There's a catch with everything, right? So what
Mm-hmm.
would you say the catch is to, building your dream business on the side?
The catch is you don't sleep a lot. And there's a fine balance between dedicating yourself to your business and dedicating yourself to your family. And the catch is that sometimes when you're real busy, you can't make every choir concert or every baseball game or every dinner with your husband's boss. You have to put yourself first. If you want your hustle to work, you have to put it first. And if your family supports you, they will understand. And that's the catch.
Well, that was well said.
Thank
See, you
you.
keep it blunt. That's my style. We keep it clear and blunt. We don't dance around it because I want people to know what you're getting into. It's not to like deter people, but when you know what you're kind of getting into, then you're not so shocked when the shit hits the fan.
This is true. This is true. And it was something that I had to learn on my own because I am very, very, very passionate about this business. And there are plenty of people that have their side hustle, but it's just a side gig. It's not a side hustle. And there is a big difference.
Tell me what that difference is to you.
That difference to me is dedication. If you're not going to dedicate yourself and you're not going to give 100%, then there's no point. There's no point in going out there if you're not going to give it 100%. And you know what? If you fail, you fail. And that's okay. And you get up and you start over again and you rebuild. But don't just do it half-assed. Can I say half-assed on
we
your
love
podcast?
swearing on ProjectME.
Okay. If you're going to do it.
Don't just dip your toe in and think you're going to get great results.
Right, because success does not happen overnight. Success takes years and years and years to build.
But when people go and follow you, and from me following you really closely, because I'm still waiting for you to get your business to the point where you can ship your baked goods, especially the banana bread, because we're obsessed in this house with it. It looks like, and you said like your business did take off kind of quickly, and that sounds like it can be everyone's dream, but there's also some hiccups that can happen when things scale that fast. So how did that look like on your end?
There were a lot of hiccups. So I actually had other businesses that I had tried prior to the banana bread, and even the banana bread had a hiccup in it. And, I'd started the business and then we moved. So I couldn't really bake during that transition. And that was hard for me because I had to turn people away and I had to post that I was taking a break. And that was really, really hard for me to do. And then it had been like 3 months. I think I had taken a break because the oven in our new house wasn't working and whatever. So anyways, I had to start over pretty much because I lost all those people over 3 months. So for me, it was like starting over again. And that was a huge, huge deal. But in all that time, I went back and I looked at all the things that I had done prior and how I was going to change my business. So even though it was a hiccup, it was a good time for me to like take a break and learn and like restructure and rebalance.
That's a good point. How did you keep your like attitude up and your motivation up? Because that would be pretty discouraging to me. I'd have to find a way to like lift myself out of that and like regroup to start over again.
Like I said before, just dedication and knowing that it was something that I wanted and that the hiccup was only temporary. And I'm a really big believer that everything happens for a reason. So and you don't realize it while you're in it, right? Like while you're in crisis or while you're in your moment of struggle, you don't realize while it's happening. But now looking back on it, I needed that time. I needed that time to regroup and rebalance and figure out some things and get my spreadsheets in order, And so that was how we recouped and we dealt with the break.
Since with the nature of your business, and I know there are a lot of people who, like the Etsy people of the world, I call them the ultimate creatives. And I consider you one of those people because I feel like baking and cooking's a creative energy.
Oh,
the catch with that is you are it. You're the one who is like actually making the product. So when you need to scale and you need to bake X many sets of cookies, Y many sets of, cakes, do you bring on other people to help you?
No. Right now, it is me, myself, and I. My husband helps, though. I will give him credit for that. When I'm like, oh my God, I didn't buy enough flour. I ran out of flour. He's like, I'm going. It'll be like 11:30 at night. And he'll be like, going to the store to buy me the big bag of flour, But right now I have no employees. It is just myself.
That's a lot.
Yes, it is. But I love it.
And that's the thing is the love for what you're doing on a side hustle is so important. It can't just be for the love of money. And granted, I love cash. We all do, but it's not enough. It's not enough to keep you going and doing that at 11:30 at night.
Right. It's the passion.
So when you are getting orders from people that are really large and you get multiple orders and you're like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Like I've seen the amount of stuff you've baked sometimes. Like, how do you do that? Like you don't have a commercial kitchen, right?
Nope. We call it the kitchen takeover. So basically, I take over the kitchen and we like order in and grill out on the grill every night. But it is a fine balance as well. Knowing how much you can actually handle, and knowing where your breaking point is and how to balance. And it comes back again to balancing your time. And just knowing, unfortunately there are times when I have to turn people away and I just have to say, I'm sorry, no, I cannot do this order for you. If you want it next week, we can do it next week or in 3 weeks. But, as a solo entrepreneur, it's really about just like knowing your limits.
Do you think it is worth it? Like you're at a point yet, like you've turned enough people away where it would make sense to even like, pay someone, super part-time or per day to help you?
I've thought about it. It would take a lot for me to hire someone else right now, just because I still, even though I feel like I have made a lot of success, there's still some learning curves that I think I need to go through and I need to go through and grow through before I bring someone else on to help me.
I get that. And that's a whole nother episode, but there's another catch when you start bringing on people. And you just gave me a great topic to do a podcast on because I've gone through that multiple times. And there's huge upside and there's, of course, a downside, like with everything.
Right.
Do you do any advertising or any kind of, community sponsorships or anything to bring those customers in?
Let's just say social media is an awesome thing. Most of my advertising is done through Facebook and Instagram. I do also do local events throughout the community, like the schools. The schools have like fundraisers and stuff during the year, so I'll go and set up a table there where people can buy stuff. Our homeowners association has events throughout the year, so I'll set up tables there. I also do a lot of networking, which is really important when you're an entrepreneur. You cannot just hide behind your computer. You have to go out and build relationships with people. And so that is like one of my biggest things I do to promote myself is to go out and just talk with people and go to networking events.
Which takes time and energy too.
Yes, it does.
So on social media, are you doing paid ads or is it all of your organic, posting and community building that's generating those sales?
For the holidays, I will usually either boost a post or do a paid ad, just to get a little bit more exposure. But overall, it's just more organic posts and, sharing and asking my friends to share or asking my friends to post a picture on their page and tag me in it.
So with paid ads, a lot of people who, are still, in the first phase or second phase of growing their business where they haven't hired on anyone to help them yet, they're not there yet, are really intimidated to spend any money on Facebook ads. What would you say has been the benefit of doing that?
Okay, well, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. People think they have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Facebook to run an ad, and that's not true. I think maybe I spend $20 a month on, for like around the holidays. Like I just did Memorial Day. I think I spent $15 on a Facebook ad. And the way that you can set it up to go out is cool. You can set it up to like go to your friends, or you can set it up within like a certain radius of where you're located. And it actually just brings a lot of people to your page, especially if you have a really good graphic. So you want something that's going to be really eye-catching, and that helps just drive traffic to your page or have people message you. But you don't need to spend a lot of money on Facebook ads. At least my personal experience. That's my advice, is don't spend a lot of money on Facebook ads. It's not necessary.
Well, that's an awesome tip. I mean, part of my initial company that I still have is a public relations social media firm. And I agree with you. That's the beauty of it, is if you are tailoring the ad correctly, and like you said, it's eye-catching and it's clear, you don't have to spend that much.
Right.
But I do feel there is, people hear the word advertising, right? And they're thinking like even a local paper, like my local paper here, a small ad is outrageous. It's like $1,500.
Yeah.
So I think people think that way. So that's an awesome tip, because then even if those people don't buy from you, right, they have maybe started like following you on social media.
Correct. Or you'll be out and they'll ask you what you do. And I'm like, I own She's Gone Bananas. And they're like, oh, I've seen you on Facebook. So my other tip about social media is that there's a lot of trolls. Don't judge your page by how many followers you had, because you may have people who follow you, but they don't really like your page or follow your page. So just keep doing what you're doing on social media and keep posting and keep sharing and be social. That's what social media is about. So don't troll other people and not like them and not comment on them and then expect your page to have a whole bunch of likes. You have to be social with other people in order to get the interaction back.
That's awesome advice. And I've noticed that a lot. It's like, you can even look at the conversion or engagement, even of people who have, 60,000 followers. They go and do like a live and they have 40 people on their live.
Right.
So I try to remind people, even when you're following some people who have, tens of thousands of people. If you actually look at the number of people who comment compared to the number of people who follow the page, it's a small percentage.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And you do have to be social. You can't it can't be one way. It's meant to be a conversation.
Correct. And conversation is important in building your business and building relationships, because as an entrepreneur, you want people to trust you. You don't have you're not a big major company with all the backing and all the support. It's you. So you have to build the relationship and the trust.
A lot of people ask me, and I'm also here, you know how you say like, oh, my friend wants to know, but a lot of people ask me, and I want to know, how do you get your spouse, your significant other on board with your dream business?
Let me take a moment of silence here.
I need to know desperately.
Okay. So to be honest, I have done other projects in the past that my husband was not supportive of. And that was really, really, really hard for me. And that's okay, because it was my dream and not his. But those things did not end up working out, and that's okay. And we move on to bigger and better things. Now, I think the reason why there is so much support this time around is because he sees how actually passionate I am about it. And when I talk passionate, I'm not like talking, waking up and being like, okay, I'm going to bake some bread and make a couple $100 this week. I'm talking like, I cannot wait to wake up in the morning and like frost cookies passionate. Like I dream about like what the next cake is going to look like that I'm decorating. Like I eat, breathe, and sleep like baking and cooking.
Wow.
And when your spouse sees that you're really truly passionate about something, and like I was never very spiritual, and over the past year I've not to get into all this stuff, but I've become more spiritual, and I actually like pray about my business, and I'm actually open to receiving things about my business. So it's totally different than anything I've done before. And I think that's why he's more supportive and more on board, because the passion this time is totally different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And the fact that you have those conversations with yourself, with the universe, that you're open to receiving, you're in that energy, and that can shift people's energy around you.
100%. Yes. Yes.
What do you do about the stuff in your business that you aren't passionate about? Meaning not designing the beautiful cake and the stuff that you love. There's always stuff in business that isn't so fun. How do you motivate yourself to get that shit done?
Okay. So that for me is like, I do not like making labels. Like I make all my labels. I don't outsource. Like nothing is outsourced. It's everything is 100% me in my business. So I don't like making labels, but you know what? If I don't have labels on my stuff, then I can't sell it. So that's my motivation, right? I really don't like preparing my Excel spreadsheets. Now, some people may be like, well, then how do you know how much money you're making and if you're profitable and this, that, and the other? Well, when you're passionate about something, sometimes money comes second, right? I mean, even though we all like to make money, like we talked about earlier, I hate entering all my receipts, but I have to do it because you have to have bookkeeping. You have to keep records. So it's kind of like, it's just things that you have to do. Like who likes to clean their house? Really not. I don't know very many people like to clean, but you have to clean. You have to brush your teeth. There's things that you just have to do, and you have to do it for your business. And eventually the things that you don't like to do, you will be able to outsource. You will be able to hire that person to help you do those small, tedious tasks. But right now, you just have to do it. You grin and bear it, and you do it.
Yep. I'm with you. And sometimes people fantasize like, oh, I'm going to hire this amazing assistant and she or he is going to take away all the spreadsheets and all of the, emails I don't want to deal with. And I had that fantasy thinking several times throughout my 10-year entrepreneurial journey. And it doesn't really always look that way because you have to teach someone else your way, your style on top of it, which takes time.
Yes.
So yes. I wanted to transition a little bit into another offshoot. And I totally see it as an offshoot. As the result of having to clean up your own kitchen in your home from this insane amount of, baking that you're doing. We all know baking is way messier than standard cooking. You've used products, and I'll let you speak more about it, but you used products to clean your kitchen that you ended up loving. And now you've turned your love for those products into some extra profit for yourself.
Yes. Yes.
So is it called Norwex?
It's called Norwex. So my husband thinks I'm crazy. He still supports me, but he thinks I'm crazy for like adding something else to the plate of responsibility. But Norwex is it's chemical-free cleaning. It's cleaning products where you use just water. Most of the products are microfiber. They have cleaning products for your home, for your body, for your pets, for your kids. And basically, what has happened is baking has taken over my entire kitchen. And like you had mentioned, it is very messy. And my friend introduced me to these products and I just fell in love with them because I was like, what do you mean I can just put like water on this and like wipe it and it like wipes my counter totally clean, no grits, like nothing stickies on there. And I show my husband, I'm like, I have to do this. Like I have to share this with people because so many people dislike cleaning and it's such a process with like the spray and the wiping and the sitting and scrubbing. And so I was just like, I'm sharing this with everyone. And he was like, I'm game. And so last night I did my unboxing of all my goodies that came. So that was super fun. But I love the products.
So can people find out more about these products by following you on social media?
Oh, yes, they can, because I love social media. Yes, I have a Facebook group as well for those products that I just started. So yeah, that's up and running.
Okay, and then I'll also, everyone listening, I'll also make sure to put the link to shop the products, Rachel's link in the show notes as well. But I want to make a point here, okay? Her primary source of income is a full-time job, okay, right now. Then the secondary is her passionate side hustle that she eventually wants to turn it into, her major empire. And then an offshoot that makes sense, not something like random, but an offshoot that makes sense. She found these cleaning products that she loves, and they have a system in place where she can get paid for, recommending them to people. And so that's exactly what we talk about here on ProjectME. It makes sense. She already loves it, so it's authentic. And why not make money off it?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
I think that's brilliant. And I'm personally excited to learn more about it because I find the kitchen to be the hardest room in the house to clean. And that's my excuse for not cooking. So I know my fiance would also love for me to find something to take that excuse away. But I love, Rachel, what you've done here and
Thank you.
And your message and the fact that you do have a lot of responsibilities and you're still making it happen. It is possible for people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You just have to keep going and don't stop and don't quit.
And don't make, the focus just about like number of sales per week.
No, that's not what it's about. If you have a business that you're passionate about, your passion shows through and the numbers will come.
Well, there you go. That's a perfect way to end. Thank you so much, Rachel, for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I really, really enjoyed this. Thanks so much.
I learned so much, and I hope all you guys listening learned a lot too. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.